Welcome to The Other Side of the Page, a bookish podcast where we yap about the books we love
and the songs that give us main character energy.
We're here to sift through the chaos that is our TBR.
And to let you know why a book might just be your next favorite read.
I'm Britt, dramatic plot twist lover and champion for MMCs needing to be more pathetic and down bad.
And I'm Hannah, reader of at least 5 books at once and a detailed fantasy map enthusiast.
Every Wednesday, press play on a brand new bookish episode.
Stay up to date with the books we will be covering by following us on social media at othersideofthepagepod over on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads.
And don't forget to follow, rate, and review the podcast A Shining 5 stars on your preferred platform because it helps us so much with visibility.
Yes, and this week we are maybe learning how to kill a guy in 10 dates with the wonderful book by Shailee Thompson.
Yes, we're going to be talking about our song choices alongside of the plot, chatting about our favorite moments, so grab an iced coffee.
Or iced chai.
And let's turn the page together.
Yes, dear reader, here is the synopsis of How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates. When Jamie Prescott and her best friend Lori attend a speed dating event, Jamie expects to meet a roster of mediocre men and indulge in some street food afterwards. She doesn't expect one of her dates to have his throat slit at their table during a blackout. After the lights come back on and there are more bodies on the floor, it becomes clear that dating can be a very dangerous pastime. Armed with makeshift weapons and Jamie's extensive knowledge of what not to do in a slasher, the remaining speed daters try to find an exit while the killer adds to their body count. As the night progresses and Jamie comes face to mask with the murderer, she begins to suspect that they are committing the slayings to woo one of the daters and turn them into a real-life final girl. But Jamie has other plans, and as she fights for her life, she can't help but find herself in a love triangle with 2 of the other survivors. Will she make it through the bloodshed to find her happily ever after? Or does this machete-wielding psychopath have another ending in mind? And we think you should read this book if you want a slasher rom-com to read. Like,
yes,
slasher rom-com. What?
It's
a great combo.
Phenomenal. And here's the thing. You might want to avoid this book if any of the following are potentially triggering for you. Death, gore, and violence. While this is a rom-com, this is a firm rom-com / slasher. Like, it is firmly in horror territory. Sexual content. So if you're really not into blood, gore, guts, I didn't think it was scary per se, but it was definitely tense and bloody. So if you're not into that, skip out on this one. However, we had a time.
Let's talk about our songs.
Yes. Song choices.
I picked You're So Vain by Carly Simon.
I picked Every Breath You Take by The Police.
I love both of those.
It just felt very on brand for what we experienced. So, all right, everyone. Now we are moving into our Pages Turned and Bridges Burned section. We are going to be covering this book cover to cover. And if you missed it, I just have to show this off again if you're watching on YouTube. This cover is the Australian version. I saw this and immediately had to get it. There's sprayed edges with the dance floor. There's a body on the bottom. I mean, like, this book is beautiful. We have so much to say about it. So if this
Oh my gosh, I just thought of like a better song.
What song?
Murder on the Dance Floor. I mean, I'm going to stick with mine, but I'm like, oh my gosh.
Actually, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you guys want to read this book, and we highly recommend that you do, pause the podcast, come back once you have, because we will be spoiling literally everything. But if you've read it or you're just here for the vibes and want to hang out, welcome on in. We're going to start with our theme lyric and why we picked the song that we did.
So my theme lyric is, and all the girls dreamed that they'd be your partner, and you're so vain, you probably think this song is about you. Because, like we said, we're going to be spoiling things immediately. So right off the gate here. But this just reminded me of, you know, the killer, right? We don't have to reveal everything right now, but maybe. But, like, the killer, like, you know, put this whole thing together for him, right? That, like, this whole thing is for him, that he's, like, so vain that he thinks it's about him. And at the same time, then he's, like, telling, you know, the leading lady of his life, like, I did this for you. It's all for you. But, like, and all the girls dream that they'd be your partner. To me, that's just, like, how, like, messed up this guy's thinking is. That, like, he thinks that all of these girls want to be with him, and then they, like, fail, and then he kills them because, like, they can't live up to it. So and the song was kind of like a little nod to, like, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Dates. So
10 days
10 days
right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
This is dates. I
I was like, hold on, It's both sound right.
Right?
The lyric that I have is it's very on the nose, but it felt so appropriate for how like true to like the slasher genre this was. And my lyric is every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you. Oh, can't you see you belong to me?
Not
Um
to be confused with
you
You
belong
Belong With
with
Me.
me, which also I did consider because there was a nice little handful of Taylor Swift references in here. Obsessed.
Yes.
But this one just stood out to me as like a hella stalker anthem. Like this was very heart eyes, very Joe from You coded. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it reminded me specifically that every game you play, like I'll be watching you because the killer Hard Eyes turned everything into a game and was like
Mm-hmm.
it was like the gamification of murder.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of when Hard Eyes used the intestines on the dance floor to draw out like the name.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just was like, this is very on brand for this book.
Yes. J forever. I just love that was on the mirror at one point.
Yes.
But let's start off by just saying how fun this book was,
Mm.
combining like horror and romance, which are our favorite genres.
Yeah, you guys, like if there was a book to describe me as a person, it is this book right here. Like it is a firm love letter to like horror and rom-coms. And I thought like there are a lot of books that are tongue in cheek and like they're so fun. This was handled like so expertly. Like I just had an absolute blast with it. And it reminded me of because we just covered female fantasy, which was
Mm-hmm.
another like love letter to the genre. And so I love these really self-aware books that we've taken on cuz like I don't know, I feel like if you get it and you appreciate it, it's just it makes your experience that much better. So I
Yeah.
will gush a little bit less as we go through. Probably not. I loved it. So
But before we dive into the plot, like the
yes.
first like 3 pages of the book are great.
Yes.
So the dedication is for leading ladies and final girls. Have you guys met? I think you'll be best of friends,
Hmm.
which I thought was great. And then there's a map, which we all know that I love fantasy maps, but I love any book with a map.
Any
And
book
it
with a
gives
map.
us a map of the club, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
And then we'll talk about how to survive a slasher here in a little bit.
Yes.
But on every chapter, there's like misquoted rom-com quotes, which I thought was so fun.
Yeah. Like one of them in chapter 16, the line is the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to kill and be killed in return, not Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Um,
I love this one on chapter 6. It's like, I've got a sneaky feeling you'll find that blood is actually all around, not Love Actually. It's just so good. And another little nod to like the horror genre and everything was like the characters' names
mhm.
that like Jamie and Laurie, I think, are both from Halloween. And then the boys, like, it's all nod to like either directors or actors or like characters like
Yep.
Wes, John, Michael, Jason, Stu. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm like suspicious of like, is like Stu the killer because of like the connection to like Scream,
Jason. Like,
Jason, Michael.
yeah, do we have that? Like, yeah, and you can just tell that Shailee has like a deep respect and love for the genres. And what's really cool about this is that like we find out in the opening that Jamie's working on her dissertation
Mm-hmm.
about slashers and rom-coms having similar formulas. And her roommate Lori tells her basically she thinks she needs to pick one, but Jamie is fully convinced that they go together. And by the end of this book, I am also fully convinced
Yep.
that they go together.
Yes. And so they both work in like different like film avenues.
Yeah.
And Lori's on the documentary side. I think it's funny. Like Jamie says that the news is like the closest thing to fiction that she watches. And so they're watching the news and they find out that there's a killer out there and he's like killing women and not sure if it's connected and like leaving like roses or something. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like a weird thing. But they're like, oh, whatever, it's a normal day in the city. And the ladies are both single and they're committed to go to at least like one event a month to meet new people.
Yeah.
And so this one that they're going to is a speed dating event at a club called Serendipity.
Yes. And now Serendipity used to be called Craven, and it is a club that Jamie and Laurie used to, frequent in their party days before that got switched over to Serendipity. Now, for this event, they arrive and their phones and personal belongings are held at coat check-in. in order to foster a more natural connection. No technology, no watches. Like, it's just put the phones down for a couple of hours to
Yeah.
mix and mingle, which, as we know, in any horror thriller, bad omen, bad sign.
Yeah, right off the bat, like, okay.
Yep.
And then the men and women are separated at first. So, like, the women go downstairs, the men go upstairs, so they can get to know each other, like, before their dates start.
Yep.
And, like, Jamie gets a bad vibe from this girl named Billy, which rightfully so. And I think she mentions, too, like, oh, watch out, like, trust your instincts.
Yes.
Like, when you're in, like, a slasher film, like, trust your instincts.
Yep.
The dates start. The men are introduced and the dates begin. And so, like, Jamie vibes with a couple guys, not the others.
Yeah.
Like, she has this great date with Wes until, like, something throws him off near the end and he, like, freezes.
Yeah.
And she's like, what did I do? Like, and I just thought their date was, like, cute because they, like, talk about, like, he likes Miss Congeniality and, like, she likes all these, like, horror films. And,
Yep.
And we have John, who, like, she thinks is a great connection. They mentioned Taylor Swift.
Yep.
And then we have Stu, who's an asshole. Then we have Curtis.
Curtis is probably the biggest asshole of them all in terms of, the dates that are in front. The good news is, though, he goes bye-bye real quick. And by bye-bye, we mean in the middle of the date, the lights go out and his throat gets slit.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby, let the games begin. Baby, let the games begin. Now, okay. This was my first, because immediately once we switched from straight rom-com to horror territory, my mind started going, okay, who could this be?
Yeah.
What's happening? Now, Curtis is bleeding out on the ground. And like everyone's like, what the fuck is happening? And Jamie's like, help? No help will be coming. Because guess what? No one has their phones. And also guess what? They're all locked in the fucking building. So chaos ensues, right? Chaos ensues. Hear me out. My first theory was that Curtis was not actually dead and Curtis had faked the situation.
I figured he was dead.
He was gone. I was like, maybe. Turns out my instinct was correct, just for something different.
Yeah.
Just for something different. But I also this was my other theory early on, and I knew it wasn't going to be true because it is still a rom-com at its core. But I wondered about Lori. I wondered if Lori was in it just because of how well tailored things seemed to be to Jamie.
Interesting.
And they were besties. Obviously, again, that didn't pan out. And these were just like my wackadoodle theories that came to me as we started. But immediately my brain went from rom-com to let me theorize thriller horror mode.
I was like suspicious of Wes throughout the whole thing.
Me too.
But I was like, I had to remind myself, like, it's a rom-com and like,
yes,
he's like too much of like the male main character to
be
the
killer.
Like, yeah. But so we know Jamie's well versed in slashers, in rom-coms, and she knows the formula. And she has this poster that she puts on like the back of their bathroom door, like her and Lori's apartment, and it's like rules to survive a slasher. So I'm going to read them. There's 10 rules. First one is don't have sex. Second is always hide for longer than you think you should. 3, find a weapon. 4, turn on the light. 5, don't split up. 6, watch your back. 7, don't run up the stairs. 8, don't say, I'll be right back. 9, sobriety equals survival. 10, down doesn't mean dead. Double tap.
Yep. The double tap reference that they made to Zombieland, because Zombieland was one of my absolute favorites, that I was like, oh, what a throwback. I love that.
Yes. What did they do? They split up. They split up in 2 groups and they find more people dead upstairs, no way out, no phones, no anything. Like the coat check lady is dead. Like all the workers are dead. Like there's no employees there at all. And then like Billy and Wes like are like, all right, you know what? We got to go back downstairs to check things out again. And they find out more people have died, but some survived. And like, I don't know.
It's just chaos. And like, if you look at the map too, this is not an easy building to get through. This is one of those like winding places with VIP rooms, multiple levels, alcoves, corners everywhere, big dance floors, like offices, It's not an easy building to navigate
Yeah.
at all.
And so they like go off and explore in different groups and they split up, whatever. But like Billy's like super sketchy. And then at one point she like leaves to like find her own way out. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Bye. And everyone has their own opinions and they like talk about, Jamie's like, oh, like these are the rules for a slasher. Like, I know all about slashers. Let's see if there's a formula. And
Yep.
her and Lori are like, oh, we've been here before. Let's draw from memory. So they like have somewhat of like an idea, like a plan,
Yeah.
but they just are trying to find their way through this club. And they separate again and the girls are upstairs and John's with them and like John goes off because he hears a noise and then
Yeah.
Jamie's like, John hasn't come back. I need to go after him. And
Mhm.
she leaves Lori and I forget who's with her, but she goes to check it out and turns the corner and there's hard eyes like slashing
Yes.
somebody. And she sees that he's wearing sees the killer is wearing a pink mask with hard eyes. And that's how she's referring to him now. Like she gets away.
She gets away.
Because it's a slasher. This is the beginning, right?
Yes.
And meets up with the girls that she was with and they like go hide in a VIP room. And they like somebody cuts their arm on the way. Like it's so dramatic, like the blood everywhere.
Yes.
And so like they're like, Hard Eyes is definitely going to find us here. Like there's no way that he does not find them there. But he does, kind of.
He kind of does. And so what's interesting, we get a lot of this through like Jamie's internal like dialogue is she's like has a bunch of run-ins like as she keeps going. Hard Eyes ends up leaving a rose and a card for the one. And there's also a Taylor Swift lyric on there.
So we think.
So we think. But Jamie starts to notice that like things she shouldn't keep getting away with these things, right? Like things are not adding up. And her little like horror knowledge alarm bells are screaming at her. So they end up meeting back up with some of the survivors and they try to make a plan. And again, like Hannah said, they're like, she's trying to tell them all of these rules. People think she's crazy, all this shit. However, there's like, and I did reference this in my lyrics, but there's like a really super cute display of affection on the dance floor that Heart Eyes leaves just for Jamie with her name in it. And it's an actual heart made out of intestines. Isn't that so cute?
Ugh.
That's so sweet. It's really hard for us to convey just how phenomenal Jamie's inner dialogue was, like her inner monologue and, all of her interiority, all the thoughts that she had. She was such a compelling main character. Now, here's the thing. She debates whether or not she is a final girl or the leading lady.
Yeah.
Because those are two very different things, two very different roles that are played in horror movies and also in rom-coms. And so there's just like this battle with her where she's like, okay, do I need to watch my back? Like, what's going to happen? And we see it unfold as like the rest of the story kind of pulls through.
Yeah. So they have to pee, which is like, I think they said in the book too, something that you don't always like talk about, right? Is like, when do these characters go to the bathroom? So they go to the bathroom and they do it in like shifts. Like people wait outside, people wait inside. And so when it's Jamie and Laurie's turn to go to the bathroom, they go to the bathroom and then Jamie finds like the vent and she's like, oh my gosh, Laurie, you can fit through there. Laurie's like, there's no way. But then shoves her in and like right as Jamie's like putting the vent back on, Heart Eyes appears in the bathroom.
Yep.
And goes after Jamie. And like Jamie's able to like thwart him, but by like hiding in the bath, like in the stall. But then she like comes out and like on the mirror and like a heart is like J forever.
Yes.
And like,
but the message doesn't feel the same as the intestines message. Something about it is different and like the way that Hard Eyes was handling themselves. And so Jamie starts wondering if perhaps there's more than one person involved.
Wes comes in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And Jamie's like relieved. Oh yeah. Like, is this a romance? Is it lead Wes or John? Because like John, John came back. Like after he disappeared, he came back. I don't think we said that. And so they like hug and they're like, oh, I'm so glad you're okay. I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Where's Lori? Oh, she ran away, blah, 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 whatever. Then they like go out and John's bleeding.
Yes.
And he's like, everyone like ran away. I don't know if they got to safety. And then so Wes and Jamie are like trying to stop John's bleeding and carrying him when they run into Hard Eyes at the end of the hallway.
Yep.
And Hard Eyes stands there and he's like holding a knife and Wes has like a matching knife. Like, okay, cool, we can take him.
Yeah.
And then Hard Eyes pulls out a machete. And since John is dying, as it seems, right? John bleeding, he decides to sacrifice himself.
Yep.
So Jamie and Wes can run away.
Yes.
Thanks,
and
John.
Oh, thank you so much, John. And like something that I noticed in this scene that started making me go, ooh, interesting, is that Jamie like commented on like the viscosity of the blood when she was helping John. Like she's commented on like the stickiness of it and like something about it. And I was like, maybe my earlier theory is right about someone else. But here's the thing too, because again, this is a romance. So all of her interactions with Wes are starting to become more and more like charged, like emotionally, sexually, like they're having this like connection. And Jamie and Lori had talked about how like being like fearful actually heightens like your emotional response, and it can also like heighten like the sexual tension. And Jamie's like, well, the first rule is to don't have sex, so we won't be doing that. But like every time her and Wes keep interacting and the more and more it's happening, there's like a maybe.
Yeah. Did you suspect Wes of being a cop?
I
before
thought
that
Wes
was revealed.
I don't know if I necessarily thought he was a cop, but I thought he was withholding some kind of information, whether he was a killer or
yeah. I was like suspicious of him throughout the whole thing, but once she like described him as like his shirt seemed like too small for his body, he liked miscongeniality. He seemed kind of like, I don't know, like a cop.
Yeah.
And so I suspected it. So when that reveal happened, I was like, at least I knew one thing.
Yep.
At least I knew one thing. And yeah, they're just like, I feel like there's just like so much chaos. It is like true slasher, like just chaos.
Yes. And like,
you don't know where the killer is at any time.
Yeah. Any corner, you turn around, you look up, you look down, and like through this whole thing, people are separating, people are coming back together. And also too, like Jamie doesn't know who to trust. Like she's choosing to trust Wes, but she also has in the back of her mind, like, something funky could be going on here. And essentially, like, she realizes through all of these things, like through all of her run-ins with Hard Eyes, through everything that's happening, she is destined to be a final girl. She is destined to be the final girl. It gave me like, I pictured her like at the end of, oh my God, it's
Ready or Not.
Yep. I pictured her like at the end of Ready or Not, just like completely covered in blood, like sitting there like, holy shit, what's happening? But yeah, she like, we're missing so many details, but there's no possible way for us to give all of the details because it is the pacing of this book never lets off the gas. You get like 30 seconds to breathe in a moment of like reprieve. And then all of a sudden, either someone's running into Hard Eyes, someone's screaming, there's blood, someone's dead, like we're running. This is a book that I think like you sit down with it and you just don't want to put it down until it's over.
Yeah. And so there's a moment where Wes and Jamie like go clean up in the utility room and it gets a little hot and heavy.
They break the rule.
Yes. Yes. Just about. They almost do.
Well, it's pretty damn close. It's close enough.
Then she's like, oh crap. Like, did I just like give in to Wes? Like, is he the killer? And so they like leave, they run into Billy and Jennifer.
Yes.
And then Billy just kills Jennifer.
Yeah. And mind you, Billy's had the worst vibes, the bitchiest attitude. Like Billy sucks. And so like, it was not surprising to watch that happen.
But it was like confusing at the same time. And I think that's when Jamie was like, there's two killers.
Yes.
And then Billy goes into the whole, like her whole monologue because she's like, I'm going to be the one. Like he'll see that I'm going to be the one, like blah, 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 blah. And then dramatically, or Wes gets like sliced, I think she like goes after Wes, but then dramatically she falls over the banister and then onto the dance floor. And Jamie's like, I need to look.
Yep. Just
Because
to
if
make
I don't
sure
look, then
you
we
got
don't
to
know if
double
she's
tap
dead.
just in
Yeah.
case. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I open the chapter where like she's realizing that there are two like killers. And this
Mm-hmm.
chapter opens with another one of my favorite quotes, which is murder me because I'd like to date you, not the proposal. And it says, quote, I wasn't wrong. This night has been following the slasher formula perfectly. Sometimes a killer needs someone to help see their plan to fruition. Teamwork makes the dream work. You'll be a disappointment just like the others, and then I'll be the one. And so the one, it seems like we're back in rom-com territory because who better to assist a psycho in their murderous love quest than another psycho who wants to prove that they're their perfect match. It was just like all of these pieces were woven together in like such a fun way. And I think it's hilarious that we're like he laughing when like half the people in this book are actively murdered.
I know.
But like again, it was funny because it's a rom-com. So it's just like yeah, if anyone's interested in reading horror romance and you've made it this far and you haven't read this, just go fucking read the book. Just go read it.
Yes. And so now I was like, is the other killer Wes? Like, but
This
like
is
I
where
feel like yeah, it was hard because I'm like, I don't think the interaction between like Billy and Wes like was like a
made
team.
sense for it to be
Yeah.
but I
Mhm.
still didn't trust Wes, and I still at this point I still did think Lori could be suspicious because Lori was gone. Lori had
Yeah.
been gone. She was in the fucking vents for God knows
I
how
know. I
long.
was hoping. I was just hoping.
Me too, but
Praying for Lori.
I genuinely was suspicious of her like through the entire book.
That's fair.
Hmm.
But then Jamie runs into Mr. John.
John, our self-sacrificing John, and he's not dead.
No. And then we have the big reveal, which we find out that John is looking for his leading lady, final girl.
Yes.
And these other, so he is the serial killer.
Yeah.
That these other girls followed him home and they just couldn't live up to his expectations.
Yes.
But he knew when he saw Jamie tonight that she was the one, that she could live up to it.
She was the one. And like, I just like, this is where the lyrics for my song really just hit hard, where I'm just like, I mean, the song is very repetitive, but it's, oh, can't you see you belong to me? How my poor heart aches with every step you take, especially when like we get this whole monologue and Jamie's like, well, I picked Wes.
Yeah.
All of this. And then every move you make, every vow you break, because obviously Heart Eyes, John is in love with Jamie now after seeing her like for the first time. And so everything that she does that is not aligned with his plan is a vow broken to him because he has this whole life planned out for them. And then the every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. And every move you make, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Very, very John coded. And I know too that we mentioned that Wes revealed that he's a cop, but what we didn't talk too much in depth about is that he was specifically there because he's been looking for this serial killer.
He explains it that like he was on the case and then he wanted to go to like get in the mindset of the killer. Like he didn't think that like it would actually happen at the one speed dating event that he chose.
No, but like this was his idea to like.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just like out of all of them,
yeah.
Poor West didn't think that he like, and then we find out that's why he was acting weird in the date with Jamie because he like was vibing with Jamie. Then he's like, oh shit,
like I'm here on business.
I'm not here to date. Like,
yes,
I'm here to observe.
Yep.
And then she ends up getting away from John.
She does. She gets away.
Like meets back up. They find the like remaining daters and they're like trapped behind this in like this room. Like they've like figured out a way to like keep themselves safe. And they come up with this plan to go up to the roof and to distract John and to let the sprinklers go off. And so Jamie's like sacrificing herself on the dance floor.
Yep.
While Love Story plays by Taylor Swift. And John's like up on the balcony and they're like, oh, having this moment. But then Jamie's like, guess what? I pick Wes.
And she also used like hooking up with Wes. Like she used to purposefully inflame John and to get an emotional reaction out of him because when John is in control, when John has his plan, things go smoothly because he knows how to execute it.
Yeah.
But as soon as he gets emotional and as soon as you start like fucking with his mind a little bit, he loses it. And Jamie is able to kill John.
Yep. And then the police break in and Lori got out and was able to rescue them. And then it's like
Yes.
the detective, like, it's like Wes's team and like, oh, well, we'll let you guys talk. And then they live happily ever after.
They live happily ever after. I loved the ending because it was like Jamie and Lori's apartment. Like they moved and they got this like, you know, higher security and
Mm-hmm.
they're on edge and like, you know, Wes was traveling, but he comes back and like she hears a sound and she's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I loved that we had the rom-com ending with the after effects of what a horror does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this book is so much fun. Like, I just loved it from start to finish. I'm so, so glad we read this one.
Yeah. A couple of my lyrics too
Mm-hmm.
that kind of tie in. One is you walked into the party like you were walking into a yacht, your hat strategically dipped below one eye. And another like John vibe, right? Because like when Jamie first walks into the speed dating, like she sees like a figure like leaning over and it's
Mm-hmm.
like John. And when the lights go on too, she says that like John has like his hair's like kind of like in his eye and everything. So it kind of
Yeah,
just like visually reminded me of that.
I love that.
I thought somehow that like John knew Jamie like before, like that this
Oh,
was
yeah,
like a
yeah.
setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he didn't. It was just literally the instant weirdo.
Yeah.
But another lyric is like, you had me several years ago when I was still quite naive, when you said that we made such a pretty pair and that you would never leave. But even not like several, but like just at the beginning of like the dates where like
Yeah.
Jamie's like, oh, I could see something with John. It's like, okay, it's John or Wes, right? And so that's when she was like naive with it and that, you know, that they could have been a pair
Yeah.
um, if John wasn't a psychopath,
What a book.
right?
So fun.
Anything else?
I think that's it. Like I said, I was raving about this. I keep staring at the cover. Like once I get my third technically bookshelf situated, I will be displaying this because I'm in love with her.
Yes, I
So
love it. Well, thank you so much for turning the pages with us this week. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, and join our newsletter to keep up with everything on the other side of the page.
yes, and please drop a review and a 5-star rating of the podcast on your preferred platform and share us with your bookish besties.
Next week, we have a list of books, and these ones have red underlined. Well, they will soon, because they are what you will be making us read.
Yes, we have a short and sweet episode going over our Look What You Made Me Read episode style for the rest of the year and how you can help us pick out a couple of the books that we cover. So, forever and always,
Keep reading with kindness.
bye everyone.
See ya.